Braylon Edwards and, of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network. Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Monday show, March 3rd, 2025. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Coming up on 80,000 subscribers on this platform. If you're watching on X, good afternoon. Having a lot of fun today, Braylon Edwards. New month, new you, new us. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Definitely new me, man. It was a good past weekend. This past weekend, got a chance to watch the Celtics and the Cavs on Friday, man. Two damn good teams. But just speaking of the new me part, I went to church yesterday. And I know we got a chance to talk. Like all of us went to church or mass yesterday, depending on what you want to call it.
The roof didn't cave in, did it?
No, it did not.
All right.
No, not in my church. My church was good. Life Church right there on 9 Mile Liza in Southfield. Great message, great spirit. The spirit is right, ladies and gentlemen. So it's fun to be with you fellas, man. Let's have a great show and some new things going on here at Woodward Sports. So we'll get it rocking and rolling as I welcome in Tom Azaway.
Hey, for us Catholics out there, it's Lent week. It starts tomorrow. Fat Tuesday tomorrow. Maybe we'll have some punchki, and then Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, and
no meat.
There you go. From there, it was a nice weekend for us as well. Celebrated some birthdays with the family, and hanging in there, man. Just still got that stomach rumbling going on. Can't figure out what the hell's going on. But
really,
yeah.
I used to get in trouble.
Man.
I went to Catholic school for 4.5 years, and Ash Wednesday, I would see how long I can go without it removing itself. So I wouldn't shower. I wouldn't do anything. I was trying to keep how many remnants on there. So I got in trouble once and never did it. My mom was like, wash your butt. What's wrong with you? I'm like, well, I don't want to get this off.
Pete Spivak, Ricky Burns with us as well. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Had a good weekend also.
Absolutely. Spivak, you good?
Doing well, man. Had a good weekend with some old fraternity brothers celebrating the transfer of Cruise In from one owner to another. So it was a good time over there in Harrison Township.
Awesome.
There's only one thing to talk about.
Uh-oh.
I feel like every time there's a wrestling event, I come on and say, I don't really watch it anymore, but I'll tune in for
There
this.
was?
Well, Elimination Chamber was on this weekend. Shout out to Jimmy Valou. Jimmy Valou, I got a chance to watch with him. He told me to tell all you guys
Jimmy
hello.
V.
Jimmy V, new spot, man. He's doing really well for himself. Proud of him. Kids weren't there, but we did get a chance to watch WWE Elimination Chamber. And at the end of it, you see none other than John Cena, Mr. Make-A-Wish Foundation for the kids. Mr.
Said
Face.
he'd never do it.
Said he'd never do it. Said he'd never do it. John Cena has turned heel. I got to say, I was shocked. I think Triple H and The Rock did a good one with this one. I never saw the day that John Cena would turn heel and do it in a heel type way. So I'm excited, at least for right now.
WWE just does not miss, man.
They don't.
They
They
do
figure it
not
out.
miss. You can skip it for 10 years and tune back in, and they'll suck you right back.
They'll
in.
course
Triple H,
correct.
man.
It's Triple H.
Triple H. Triple
Yeah.
H has completely revamped the WWE. There is no question about it. The vibe in the locker room, they say, has never been better. Guys know where they stand. They're not lied to. There's no deception.
He's the new Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
But it's
he's
better,
the
though, because I like
number-
that everyone.
Stephanie McMahon and Triple H are in charge now.
Triple H. I don't even
But
know who the hell he
Stephanie-
is.
Hunter Hearst
He was
Helmsley.
wrestling back in the day. But they stayed based on their father leaving, because Steph was leaving. If Vince would have
Yeah.
stayed, when they finally moved Vince on, Stephanie stayed. Like, that was very pivotal for the company, because she's a mastermind behind it. She's what
It's nice looking.
Vince wishes Shane was.
No doubt. Hey, let me mention today as we get going here. It's a new month, and if you've listened to the network, the Wake Up Woodward show, Big D Energy, we know we're getting the super chat involved. It's a new month, so here's what we're doing on our show. Okay, first and foremost, if you are involved in the super chat, if you go to YouTube and you hit the little money symbol next to the chat and donate money, anything $5 and above, so it just costs you $5, you will be enrolled in a weekly giveaway. And what we are giving away is, at the end of the week, whoever donates $5 or above, you're going to get, at the Birmingham Lady Jane's, we talk about it all the time, you're going to get a free haircut, free hot lather neck shave, and a free scalp massage. So one winner per week throughout the month of March. All you have to do to be automatically included in this is to, in the YouTube chat, $5 or above. So that's one.
And we'll pick a winner on Friday.
We will pick a winner on Fridays. For a daily segment, the person who donates the most money, maybe it's $20.
Yeah.
We have no idea. Maybe it's $20 that day. For the person who donates the most money on any day throughout the month, each day in the 3:35 to 3:40 segment, we'll start it somewhere around there depending upon the show. We will ask if you would like to vMix into the show. vMix is like Skype or like Zoom. It's just what we use here at Woodward Sports. It's a link called vMix. Tom Mazaway can get in touch with you. So maybe we should do most money in the first hour, because by 3 o'clock we would probably have to know who that person is to get in touch with them. So you want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Is that fair?
We can
most
do that. Or
money
we might be able to push it to 3:15.
3:15. Okay,
Yeah.
most money up until we take a break at 3:15.
Yep.
Whoever donates the most money, we will send you a vMix link. It's just a link, and then you pop up on our air, and we can talk some sports
We're
with
gonna
you.
start that tomorrow.
We can start that today.
One technical
Even.
thing on the
What?
vMix: make sure that your pop-up blocker is
Well,
is
we
off.
can do that with the individual.
I hear you. Just in case. Yeah. Okay. Just
Yeah.
well, I can't talk to them individually. I just want to let them all know.
Or
yeah.
we can just give you a call as well.
Or we can do a phone or
Yep.
vMix.
Yep.
Okay? However you want to do that. And then when Anson is here, and Anson will be here Thursday, Friday this week.
Yeah.
Anson will have his autographed card collection. He will give away some cards. So that's
Yep.
when Anson is here. So 2 ways to get involved today. If you want to be on the show, if you want to be in the weekly chat, because as you see, if you could take the Maz chair right now, actually.
Yep.
Take the Maz chair for me. If you see to the right of the Planet Fitness sign, that is the great Spencer Raxter right now getting a scalp massage. To the right of the Planet Fitness sign.
Oh, it is. I didn't even notice.
Absolutely. I notice everything.
Is that B? Is that Bethany?
Nope, that's not Bethany back there. But he is enjoying a hot leather neck shave and, of course, a scalp massage. If you would like a free one, donate to the show and we'll get you that. We'll pick
And
it
that's
on
who's going to
Friday.
be picking the winners on Friday. Will be Bethany. So you get
Okay.
a chance to see Beth on full display. I know you guys like looking at her this anyway, so you get a chance to not have to stare through this.
Or if she's not here, we'll get another Lady James stylist.
She agreed to it already.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough. And by the way, if you notice, whenever I get a cut, there are 2 chairs there. Go back to the Maz chair for Maz
God.
shot for a second. So to the right of that Planet Fitness symbol, So
This way?
No.
This way?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's Spenny, but there is a chair next to Spenny. That's always the chair that I'm in, so that no show can ever zoom in on me. He's got a massage. I know all the tricks. I just want to let
Catch you with your
That's
tongue.
the blackout spot.
Right. I just want to let everybody know that. Ladies and gentlemen, shall we get into the show today?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I think we shall.
We'll start in the NFL, and this was, I think, a little bit bigger news locally than it probably is around the league. But the Philadelphia Eagles have the intent to release 6-time Pro Bowler Darius Slay, the cornerback, the All-Pro cornerback, probably you can count on one hand the best defensive backs in the league. Over the last decade, Darius Slay, in my opinion, is on that list. A lot of people here in Detroit excited about that prospect. Braylon Edwards, what say you?
Before I get too excited, I want to see what happens in Eagles because something came out that they're releasing him to bring him back, potentially at a lower cost. That's a potential, but just Darius Slay. Darius Slay definitely in the last 10 years or so, he's made a name for himself. Started here in Detroit, and he continued that name in Philly. Last year, his QB efficiency rating when they were going his way, it was 80%. The year before that, it was 95%.
He led the team last year in
100%.
defense. And
With 80%
Yep.
though.
Pretty
Like,
good.
I'm just looking at it in terms of 80% is a big drop off from 95 and 91 the year before, especially for how good that defensive line is. But if you're talking the tune of something that makes sense, this is a guy that can do something for you here in Detroit, but how good is your defensive line going to be? There would be my question about Darius Slay. What are you preparing to do on that defensive line That'll be if I'm excited to bring in a Darius Slay or not.
He wants to play one more year.
If you're not going to revamp your defensive line like we want you to, and you're just going to go out there, I'd rather Carlton Davis the second, respectfully, at this particular junction.
Yep, Carlton's coming off that broken jaw, as you remember. He's been terrific for us for last year when they signed him, when they made that trade with the Tampa Bay Bucks. He is more expensive than Darius Slay. Darius Slay will come here on a 1-year deal. His cap hit was just about $4 million with the Eagles. So I think he'll be that or less to come here for 1 year and play for the Lions. He said he wants to play for either one more year with the Eagles, and they might re-sign him again at a lower rate, or he would like to finish his career here in Detroit, which he calls his second home.
Yeah.
He was on just a couple of weeks ago with the St. Brown brothers. He made it clear. 2 teams. He wants to play 1 more year. If the Eagles won't have him, he'd love to come to Detroit and finish up here.
I want to build some consistency. I think what the Lions have done on the defensive side of the ball for the last 4 years, man, just be 5, is plug and play. Here's a player this year. Here's another player this year. Here's a safety for this season. No. I don't want to have a Darius Slay for 1 year. This is a year where I want some consistency. I want us to be there in the background as well. I would prefer to sign somebody from a longer term, more Carlton Davis II. I keep bringing up that name. I like what he was for the Lions last year. His jaw got injured at the end of the season. He'll be perfectly fine for this season coming up. A 1-year deal, I just don't know.
Well, you have to look at it. A 1-year deal with him. Maybe they still re-sign Carlton Davis. And then you have to look at the kids they drafted. They drafted Terry and Arnold, and they drafted Enos Rakestraw. We haven't known what about Rakestraw. We have no idea what he can do. But he was a second-round pick. You know what the Eagles did? They went out and got Quinyon Mitchell, and they got Cooper DeJean. So
right.
they got their guys. Did the Lions get their guys? That's the question. And we're going to have to figure it out. That's up to Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell.
For as unpopular as this may be in the city of Detroit, I am a hard no on re-signing Darius Slay. A hard no. Last year in 2024, there were 0 starting cornerbacks in the NFL over the age of 34. Darius Slay will be 35 next season. The average age of a starting defensive back in the NFL is 25.9 years old, nearly 10 years younger than what Darius Slay would be. 8.5% of the league's starting cornerbacks last year were 30 or older, from 30 to 34, and it was just Slay and Stephon Gilmore, 34 years of age.
We wanted him last year too, remember?
Absolutely. So those were the 2 old guys. No, not one player in the league, 35 or older, was a starter in the NFL last year at the defensive back position. It's a young man's game. That is about speed. That is about agility. And those 2 areas, for the most part, Braylon, are for young people. And God love Darius. I love Darius. I love that he loves Detroit.
Wish we never lost him.
But that ship has sailed, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, the running back position and the DB position are 2 of those positions where it disappears fast, Ryan. At the running back position, you'll blink, and a guy, look at Todd Gurley. You take those hits over time, you blink, and it disappears. On the DB, it's the same. After a while, what makes you great as a DB, the quick tips, to be able to get in and out of breaks with the wide receiver, the ability to run 4-3 or 4-4, that disappears. Those hips, they get a little slower. That speed, it gets a little slower. And I think that's where Darius Slay is. It's no secret why his usage rates went down to 80% last year in terms of when he was covering guys. It's because the guy's a little older. Like you said, it gets faster and faster and faster. You're watching guys, and especially the receivers today, the drills and the skills that they have, these guys can play, man.
No interceptions last year either.
100%. He's now playing from a space of being behind. He's behind. He's not ahead of the play anymore. When you're Darius Slay and you're younger, and now you can go into your film study and your 4-4, you watch that, you can anticipate, you can jump. Now you get a little slower. Now that anticipation isn't there. Now guys are beating you to the spot. So you make a valid point in terms of the age of the starting defensive the DBs in the league right now. But you see what you saw out of him last year. It would be tough to put him out there, man. You need somebody that's younger in that spot, in my opinion.
Super Bowl champs. I think they know what they're doing, right? They've been to 3 Super Bowls in the last decade. They've won 2 of them. When Philly says you're done, I'm going to have to agree with them. And I think they're saving up money for you know what. I think they're building up They're building up their money. We've said it last week. They're ready to make a big splash. And I won't even put his name out there yet. I'll let you, Rye, but
Go for it.
let's save it up for Myles Garrett.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah,
Everybody knows it.
save it up for Myles Garrett.
It's not even a secret.
Diana Rossini reported today, and you can read it, Rye. I
Yep.
gave it to you. Basically, it's the Eagles and the Bills, and what the Eagles can do is Josh Sweat is available. You know, there's a free agent. They've got guys that aren't going to come back.
No doubt, because that one player, Myles Garrett, that we've been talking about for so long, makes everybody else around him better. You don't need Josh Sweat if you've got Myles Garrett and Jalen Carter. Sources tell Diana Rossini from The Athletic that the Eagles have real interest in trading for Garrett. One of her sources is an NFL GM. ESPN's Dan Graziano expects Philadelphia and Buffalo to pursue Garrett aggressively. The Eagles could opt to pay Garrett around $20 million per season left on his contract over impending free agent pass rusher Josh Sweat, projected to get around $20 million per year himself. This assumes that Garrett is willing to play on his current deal. Rossini believes the acquisition of Garrett would probably prevent the Eagles from keeping their top free agents like Zach Bond, Milton Williams, and right tackle Mekhi Becton. Now, Milton Williams would most likely be gone. He's the number one defensive lineman on the free agent market, Milton Williams. Zach Bond, they love Bond. He's their Alex Anzalone, better than Anzalone, but he is the straw that stirs the drink there, Braylon. But again, could Garrett replace Milton Williams and Josh Sweat? And I say yes, he can.
Pete, I appreciate you for always giving me my credit. When did I say this? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
I said Milton Williams' contract is up. They'll get rid of him. They'll get rid of Darius Slade. They'll get rid of BG, who's retiring anyway. It's all a move to get you know who. Like 100%. And I think they can make it work with Bond. And if they don't, oh, well. He didn't even play on the team last year. He was a free agent pickup for 1 year, had a hell of a year. They'll replace him. Because keep in mind, N'Kobe Dean is coming back, who didn't even play at the end of the year. So
He led him in tackles.
100%. If they get Myles Garrett, they don't need Zach Bond. They don't need a Milton Williams.
That's right.
Like, they know what Myles Garrett represents to their franchise and to the next move. They know what it represents for their defense. They get a Myles Garrett, this defense comes already scarier than they are, and they also want to play keep away. It's something that you always talked about. So if I'm Myles Garrett, I guess it doesn't matter. But if I'm Myles Garrett, I like Philadelphia Eagles more than I like Buffalo. I just don't like what Buffalo is doing. I don't like where Buffalo is, and I don't like, if I'm him, do they finish in the playoffs? You have a track record with Philadelphia Eagles, been there twice in the last 4 years, so that's where I would want to go.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. 3 times really in the last
8 years,
years, and they've done that.
And
with
won 2 of them.
And they've done that with different coaches and different quarterbacks, and that talks about organizational strength, something that he did not come from in Cleveland. Philadelphia is a real legitimate landing spot for Myles Garrett. And then you look at the Washington Commanders, who just acquired Deebo Samuel over the weekend.
Right.
That's a steal for a 5th-round pick.
Absolute steal for him. Deebo is now in a place that he is going to be not the man, because I think Terry McLaurin is the man there, but Deebo is in a real nice spot with a great quarterback, with an up-and-coming team, with a great head coach, and seemingly one of the, in 1 year, this incredible turnaround as far as an organization. This is a huge get for Washington. Yeah. This makes them very dangerous. And if you're Philadelphia, if you're Detroit, I would not, under any circumstance, let Myles Garrett go to the Washington Commanders.
Look how crazy the situation is. Like, just think about the NFC East for a second. Look at what Dallas Cowboys were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They were the team. They were a team that probably would eventually figure it out. 13 wins. They got the coach. They got the players. They got this. They got third. The Washington Commanders, they don't even have a name. Now look at it. The Dallas Cowboys are a dumpster fire. Meanwhile, the Washington Commanders are cooking with grease. They got a GM that they converted from a basketball GM. Seems like he's figuring out. I can't think of his name. It escapes me right now. But they know they struck when the iron's hot. They drafted the quarterback, and they're making moves from there. They picked up Deebo Samuel. You mix him in with that offense of Jaden Daniels, very similar to what Malik Nabers was doing when he was in LSU. Cliff Kingsbury is going to have a field day with Deebo Samuel. They're playing for now. I don't know what the hell Dallas is doing. I don't know what the hell some other teams are doing. Hint, hint. Some teams are playing for right now. They want to win now. The Commanders are no different than the Eagles.
Adam Peters.
My man, 100%.
And just with Deebo too, Bray, you know as well as anybody, when you feel like a team doesn't want you anymore, in all last year, it felt like San Francisco was done with Deebo Samuel. you know what kind of effort you put in for a team that doesn't want you anymore, and you know what kind of rejuvenation you have when you know a team goes out and says, this is the missing piece to our offense. This is something we want. This is something we can work with. And I feel like Washington is giving Debo that. Now, he might be fat. That might be AI I see.
Right.
But I guarantee you that Debo Samuel is going to come to camp in shape and ready to go.
They have a different element that they're about to offer Debo Samuel that they've already shown. Maz, you know where I'm going with this. They got Magic Johnson. They have Magic Johnson. So whatever happened with Debo Samuel at the end of the 49ers run, because he did a lot for that team. They allowed him to play running back and quarterback and direct snap and all these things. He did a lot for that squad. It didn't work out at the end. But Magic is going to bring him in. You saw Magic in the locker room after they beat the Lions, talk to every player and bring those guys in. You start to feel like a team bunk sway. That's what he's going to tell Debo. Like, look, Debo, you come over here. You don't have to do all that extra stuff if you don't want to. We got Jaden Daniels. It's his show. We got Scary Terry. We got a nice spot for you. There's going to be a lot that you can do. We're going to use you like a Swiss Army knife, but to what you want to do. He's going to re-buy into a culture. He's excited. Like, Commanders have something, and I think that's how they're going to pull Debo and other players in. Magic Johnson. You say what you want to.
Lions have some decisions to make up.
Yeah.
They're coming up. They've got players that are owed bonuses. One of them is Zadarius Smith. If they keep Zadarius Smith past March 30th, his bonus kicks in from the Cleveland Browns. I read today that, well, I don't even have to read. I mean, you can read the tea leaves. Do you think they're going to keep Zadarius Smith? Do I like him? I really do. I think he's an upbeat guy. I think he's still got some tread on the tires. Sure, he's in his 30s right now. But I would like to keep him, but they probably won't because of the money. So what do? They've got contracts coming up. They've got to pay people. It just doesn't seem to me that they're going to go after this Myles Garrett trade. But on the other hand, the word on the street, Ryan, you could bring it up. They were after him at the trade deadline. Probably the team that was after him the most was the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, that's what one of the ESPN First Take reporters were saying was that Myles Garrett, the Lions were the most aggressive team. This is by, what's her name? Kimberly Martin. The Lions were the most aggressive team that pursued pass rusher Myles Garrett at the trade deadline and are in touch Cleveland once again about a potential trade. You love to see it. You cannot force a trade, meaning Brad Holmes can't make Cleveland send Myles Garrett here. But if this reporting is accurate, if you believe Kimberly Martin's reporting, I love that Brad Holmes is trying to be proactive about this and not taking a sideline pass and sitting this one out and waiting to see what everybody else does.
They went the secondary market with Zadarius.
This isn't the way he does business. This much, and I told you, don't believe what Brad Holmes is saying at the combine. Don't believe. He is playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers when it comes to this stuff. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to come out and say, yeah, we got to go get this expensive player from Cleveland, the number one defensive player on the market. We got to go get him. He's not going to say that in public. He's going to say we don't need him and we can win with our guys. It's just not going to negotiate through the media.
Yeah, for all you individuals on the chat and elsewhere that said, oh, my God, Myles Garrett's available. Would you have said that if he wasn't available? Why you got to go get Myles Garrett? You don't believe in the team. Your own GM tried to get Myles Garrett. Your own GM, who all you guys in the chat say, let Brad cook, let Brad cook. Brad tried to cook Myles Garrett here. Yeah. It lets you know that we're on to the right track. So when you talk about keeping Zadarius, Brad Holmes knows that it's going to be iffy with number 97 coming back off that compound fracture. You want to secure the edge on one side. That's why he was doing with Myles Garrett. So once again, do the Lions have enough if they sign the players that played last year and all that? I think so. But Brad doesn't want to think so. They want to know so, is what everyone in this studio has been saying. You want to know so. The Commanders want to know that they can contend with the Eagles. The Eagles want to know that they got their foot on the gas in the NFC. Everybody's trying to know because Myles Garrett is that good, or a rush in is that good.
And when you're trying to get a guy like Garrett, or when you're trying to get one of these upper echelon.
So that means, does that mean they don't believe in Davenport as well as
Smith?
I don't. You cannot believe in.
They're
Davenport.
not counting on
Davenport hasn't played in 2 years, but that's why you can't just go get Darius Slay. Like, let's just say Slay's on the market, okay? Let's just say. What's he going to get? $3-4 million a year? Yeah. That's a lot of money when you're talking about a cap.
Yeah.
When you were, because Tim Patrick is going to cost about $4 million. And you're really, toeing the line whether or not you're going to sign Tim Patrick. So I think a guy like Tim Patrick is almost a necessity. When you look at who the Lions have on their roster right now, zero big target wide receivers. Zero. Tim Patrick should be a priority.
He better be. He's a non-negotiable. You see what he does in the blocking game?
Yes.
Like, how many extra yards did we see Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery get because of him caring about the run game? And then, too, like you said, he's a big-body wide receiver. He makes the third down catch over the middle of the field. He provides a big body when you're in the fringe, which is when you're on the 9 to 10-yard line. He's running that inseam on the post side. I like what he was able to do. You take him out of that squad, J-Mo and Amon-Ra is not enough. I don't care how good you believe Amon-Ra is, and I don't care how fast J-Mo is. It's not enough if you don't have Tim Patrick. He's a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah, what's a guy like Slay going to cost? What's a guy like Tim Patrick is going to cost? This isn't baseball or basketball where everybody gets a $100 million deal. I mean, some of these deals, even when David Montgomery, before the extension, signed $6 million a year? I think he got 3 years, $18 million. You're like $6 million a year for that running back. That's what it costs in the NFL to get a player of that caliber. So, I mean, Tim Patrick, $2-3 million, maybe $4, maybe on the high end.
Only a few guys make the real money.
Yeah, it just doesn't sound like a lot of money, and it's not. But it is when it comes to a cap. It is when you're trying to get one player that can make everybody better. Hey, by the way, gang, $1 would do it. If you want to join us on the V-Mix right now, even $1 would do it. The person with the most money by 3:15, if you're watching live, you could join us by V-Mix right now, so you could do that if you'd like. Also, anybody that donates over $5 will be in a weekly drawing. There's Bethany back there. Give me the Maz shot if you could. There's Bethany back there to the right. There's Bethany. She's waving back there, giving a scalp massage. So if you want a chance to have that happen, donate at least $5 in the chat. Guys, we're going to have Doc Maakaron, more Lions coming up next.
Yeah.
We'll get there, but first, a message from Caesars.
Everybody right now, scan that QR code above my head, and when you do, enter the code word Woodward1000 to open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. The baseball season is going to start next month. You also got the NBA and the NHL playoffs coming up, and also March Madness. So scan that QR code above my head, open up your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account, deposit at least $20, make a first bet of $20 or more. If that first bet happens to lose, you'll get the first bet back as a bonus bet up to $1,000, but only if you scan the QR code above my head and use the code word Woodward1000 to get your brand new Caesars Sportsbook account. We will be right back.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Thank you to all the fans for making Woodward Sports your number one online destination for Detroit sports. We promise not to drop the ball.
Dreaming of a new home but feeling a financial pinch? Mark White and Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Mark White and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, that's $5,000 in your pocket. Call Mark White and Associates today, 248-290-8242. Visit them online as well, markwhitesells.com. Again, that number, 248-290-8242, to make your dreams come true.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway, Pete Spivak, Ricky Burns with us as well. We are talking Lions here. And, I got to say, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but John Doc Maakaron was first on our show here on Woodward Sports. And then all the other shows stole him.
Yeah.
All the other shows stole him.
He's our guy.
I think
He's my friend for years.
We consider Doc Maakaron our guy.
He is.
Huh?
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey, we got our first super chat, by the way.
New Jordan era questions. Fellas, which cornerback signed for next season, Davis or Slay? I think this is an easy one. Carlton Davis has to be a priority and back with the Lions.
We'll let Doc answer.
I think it's Davis, because whoever you're talking is going to cover the number one wide receiver for the other teams. I don't trust Darius Slay against Justin Jefferson. I don't trust him against insert wide receiver as number one right here. So, no. Davis for me. Davis showed me last
Me too.
year.
John Doc Maakaron covers the Lions for SI.com, on X at Detroit Podcast 1. Doc, what in the world? Who hijacked you?
Thanks, fellas. Listen, anytime you want, dial me up and we'll talk Detroit Lions football. Everybody, listen, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but I like to toot my own horn. Everybody wants to talk to the DOC. I got a lot to say, man.
Shout out. And let's start here. I want you to answer the question that was just presented to us in our chat from New Jordan era. Which cornerback would you sign for next season, Carlton Davis or Darius Slay, if Slay were to become available, which is the story today?
Yeah, absolutely. I love the fact that the Nostalgia Act, I understand, because people perceive that he was slighted from the old regime. Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn didn't understand talent, didn't understand culture, and they made the decision to trade him. And I think he was a fan favorite. He was part of a regime that really some tough times in Motown. But I think clearly that Carlton Davis, I think, is an upgrade when you look at what he brought to the table, a physical corner that wants to play man-to-man and can lock down the opposition's number one. I think that he's going to be coveted, and it's going to be tough to bring him back. I think teams like the Jets, Jaguars, other AFC, NFC squads should look to make him a healthy offer. But I think when the Lions are looking at their free agent priorities, I think Carlton Davis is one that you would want to back on this, especially with Calvin Shepard being a first-year defensive coordinator. Some familiarity, I think, would be great. But if they went out and brought back Darius Slay, I would understand it. But he's 34 years old, slowing down. I understand the loyalty that Detroit fans have to players that were on this roster, but he didn't play a whole heck of a lot of man-to-man with the Eagles, and his numbers against the run, not the best. So I would be okay if they went in the draft or somewhere else with a defensive back.
Doc, I agree with you 100% talking about those Jets. They lost DJ Reed, and he's a hell of a defensive back. So replacing him is priority. Let's just stick with the Lions in terms of replacing their own people. Who are players on this team that you would want to bring back, that you would be willing to bring back this particular year because you value where they are and where their price point is for the Detroit Lions?
Yeah, first and foremost, like we talked about, Carlton Davis. I do think Kevin Zeitler, and look, I'll just preface it by saying I'm kind of, if I was going to be a GM, right, once a player turns 30, I'm sorry, this is a young man's game. So I'm looking to Christian Mahogany to replace Kevin Zeitler. I'm looking for a replacement for Graham Glasgow. I thought his numbers last year were a detriment to the offensive line. I'm looking to go younger in regards to the offensive line. Clearly, I look at Derek Barnes as a fit. I think he's the player that you can count on potentially coming back. I think that he's got a very close bond with Alex Anzalone. And now that your former position coach, Calvin Shepard, is going to run the defense, I think that Derek Barnes, hopefully his rehab is going great. And I think he's going to face an opportunity to maybe take a prove-it deal in Detroit. I think there's a lot of reasons to believe that he'll return. And then you're going to look at, with the Lions is going to be, I think the big issues are going to be which of the high-end players are you going to allocate the big money to? And the three biggest candidates are Aiden Hutchinson, Kirby Joseph, and Jamison Williams. So I think that Aiden and Kirby are going to command big dollars. I'm wondering about Jamison Williams because of the fact that he's had those suspensions. I'm wondering if they're going to allocate those big dollars to him. But I would assume at this point it's going to be Aiden and Kirby Joseph getting some hefty raises.
And, I want to expound on that point, Doc, because the Lions do feel like they are at a critical period in their turnaround, in their window, where they do have to make some decisions. They can't re-sign Kevin Zeitler. They can't re-sign a Graham Glasgow. They need every dollar possible in order to re-sign some of these big name players. Every dollar possible and they'll probably lose. There's no question. I think they would lose a guy like Levi Onwuzurike as well. They can't re-sign all these guys.
Absolutely. You said it. I think the two candidates that people would also look at on the free agency list, Ifeatu Melifonwu, a good player, but not available. And Braylon knows your best ability is availability. Absolutely. And I just think he's a good player. I think he has a chance for a future if he stayed healthy. But given where the Lions are at with two young safeties that are productive, I think Ifeatu Melifonwu and Levi Onwuzurike are candidates that I would put as a prediction as being guys that will not be here in 2025. You're absolutely right. They have to be wise. And unfortunately, that's what Brad Holmes told everybody. He's like, look, we got to pay our own guys. And that's been the motto. And we can debate the value of doing that versus high-priced free agents externally. But the Lions have been successful in the model that they have in draft and develop. So I do think that Brad Holmes is loyal to the players that produce at a high level that were drafted.
And you talk about that, guys that produce at a high level. You had mentioned his name a minute ago, Jamison Williams. I think this guy is the really where the wiggle room begins and ends, right? Because you cannot re-sign everybody, but when you see what this player gives this offense, there are a lot of wide receivers out there. There are very few wide receivers in football that have that kind of speed, that can do what he does. And, oh, by the way, it is a prerequisite, as Braylon always says, to be a wide receiver on this team, you have to block for this team. He does that as well.
Yep.
I think you almost have to re-sign him right now. I know you can't re-sign anybody, but I go back and forth on this, Doc. I think you've got to re-sign J-Mo.
Yeah, no, look, the great opportunity that he's got is that there's a fifth-year option. So there's an opportunity. It would be hefty at, I think, near $18 million. But you have an opportunity to keep him longer in town and wait and see what he brings to the table. I think Jamison Williams is part of the future. I do think that he opens things up for Jared Goff, makes him a better player. And I just think this year, clearly last year's goal was to firmly establish J-Mo as a number 2 wideout. He accomplished that. Now, the suspension didn't help. And some of the suspensions have just been for a lack of attention to detail, but that's still part of your job. When you're getting compensated at that level, I think that the numbers that people would throw out would maybe be 4 years, 80 million or so at the starting point for Jamison Williams in that 20 million a season range. But I think you wait and see. You make him play well again in 2025 with the new offensive coordinator. You decide that, hey, if you can play all 17 games, mind your P's and Q's, make sure that you're not getting in trouble, it's a player worth it. I think that he's developing. And, one of my last questions to the coaching staff before the playoff exit was, hey, how does J-Mo get to that Justin Jefferson level? How does he get to that point where he's the number one, up his numbers? I think he's got that potential. It's got to be expected. It's got to be targeted. I think that he should be. He's up there with the likes of a Justin Jefferson. And I think that as long as the off-the-field stuff and the attention to detail is there, I think J-Mo is going to be part of the Lions' future for a long, long time.
Hey, Doc, it's tough being a Lions fan, Let's face it. They won 15 games last year, and it took them to the last freaking half of the season, the last half of the last game to clinch that division. The division's getting better. That's just what being a Lions fan is. They're playing great football, and here they still have to fight to try to win their own freaking division. The Eagles, Super Bowl champs, they're going to get better. Washington is getting better. There are teams around them that are closing the gap. The window, we always say, is there because the Lions are young. But it's closing as well. So when I throw out Myles Garrett's name to you, and he's the elephant in the room, and you hear Philadelphia is making some moves, trying to make some inroads to get him, how do you let a guy like that go to another team that you have to contend with when, in fact, we heard the Lions were really the leader knocking on the door at the trade deadline last season to try to get him? They settled for Zadarius Smith. Do you think it's possible that they go out and get this guy?
Yeah, and that's the question. Basically, I asked Brad Holmes directly, and we got into a little bit of a back and forth, and he went philosophical on me and said, why do you want me just to get one, Myles Garrett? I could get 2 or 3. Well, I understood the spirit of what he was saying in regards to, I can't just say we're one player away, because that puts all the pressure in the world on Myles Garrett. It puts the pressure on the Lions to actually have to accomplish something. But here's the first and foremost, okay? It was tough for the Lions to exit that way. And then to see how the Eagles were able to win with the front four without blitzing, okay? But if you followed Lions on SI, if you followed my staff, we put out there a story before the playoffs, 3 reasons why the Lions are not winning the Super Bowl. And one of the reasons my guy Vito, who's very honest and objective, said was the pass rush wasn't good enough. It hasn't been good enough. And so for Brad Holmes, look, he does a lot of things well. There's nobody going to sit up here and not credit Brad Holmes for where he got this franchise from being abysmal and irrelevant to now we're talking next level stuff. Okay? And next level is now you're not compared anymore to the piddly old Lions. You're not compared to the Cardinals. You're not compared to the worst teams in the league. You're now compared in the upper echelon class with a Howie Roseman, with a Veach from Kansas City, with teams that are very solid amongst the elite. And now the next question is going to be for the Lions. How do you go from being a good team that gets to the postseason versus a team that can be consistently a Super Bowl winner? And I think you got to be more aggressive. So for everybody that's listening, I think you should want Myles Garrett. It's Brad Holmes' job to deliver. And I think that everybody that's listening or paying attention, why would you not want an all-pro, out-of-this-world defensive end that's going to destroy the quarterback and make life better for your defense, make life better for your offense? You should want as many good players on this team as possible.
Preach.
And if you got to sacrifice a player or two, so be it. But it's Brad Holmes' job. So, but I also understand the argument that people have. Well, if you sacrifice picks, maybe you take a step back. Maybe you don't have the success. Maybe you fail. But I'm of the opinion you take the swing and you go for that 1 or 2 opportunities to win a Super Bowl. And if you trust your GM, hey, if you take a swing out of Myles Garrett and you lose Barnes, Ifatu, you lose Carlton, and you get Myles Garrett, I'm all for it. I'm all for taking the swing for 1 and worry about the sustained success later. So I'm all for Myles Garrett. I think that it's going to be tough to execute that. I think the odds are low that he'll end up in with the Lions, but you just have to trust, if you're a Lions fan, you got to trust that what Brad is selling is effective, which is draft and develop and take calculated risks. But in my humble opinion, I'm all for being a little bit more aggressive in free agency. And I do think they should. Clearly, their free agent strategy's got to be a little bit more aggressive, less selections of guys that have a previous history of injury. And in the draft as well, no projects. Yes. All guys that can – listen, they're not all going to start, but they have to compete to start. Because you could argue there are 3 draft picks on Hooker, on Broderick Martin that were wasted picks that did not help you win the Super Bowl. The proof's in the pudding. We're all sitting here wondering where's the ring. And I think that with a couple different maneuvers, we could argue that the Lions could already have their ring.
Talk that stuff, Doc.
No doubt. And look, one of the things that I said over the last week, Doc, is that you cannot draft your way to a championship. You just can't do it. You have to take a swing. Maybe it's not Myles Garrett, but it's got to be somebody else. I mean, the Eagles, they've been to, prior to last year, they've been to 2 Super Bowls in 7 years with different quarterbacks and different head coaches, and they took a swing on Saquon Barkley. San Francisco, no, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but they took a swing on Christian McCaffrey. It was a trade in season. Teams that do this need somebody to help them get to that point. And I have yet to find a team not quarterbacked by Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes that hasn't taken a swing and drafted their way to a championship. It just doesn't exist.
You're absolutely right. And so what you're saying is that the free agency strategy externally, the Lions are cautious. They are cautious in giving those high-priced dollars to guys that have been not drafted and not part of the deal. And I do think that strategy, you could argue, has been detrimental. I do think that they need to be more aggressive in targeting free agents. They can do better in regards to targeting higher price. And guys, and I think what the Lions are scared of is, you look at it and you say, well, what if there's attrition and what if this happens? I look at it like typically the guys that you're going to want to pay are good players. But the problem is there's competition for those players. And there's a lot of reasons why free agents may not come to Detroit for playing time, for monetary reasons, things like that. And also, guys, remember, I think when Dan Campbell said it, it also could be a detriment. When he said not everybody can play for the Lions, what does that mean? The Lions want guys that are all in, hardcore, and want to practice like they've never practiced before. Like we're talking practices that will put most average NFL players in the ground. That's how hard the Lions practice. That doesn't suit everybody's needs. And so that's why the Lions are looking for a specific type of player. But you guys are right. I think the rigidity of their free agency strategy has been costly. But I think moving forward, I think there will be some adaptations and adjustments. You're absolutely right. Time to take some swings. Time to bring more talent to this roster. We all should be clamoring for more at all times.
Yeah, Doc, this really isn't a question. This is just how I agree with you. You got to take a swing at some point. And if you want us to sit here and look at the examples, there's plenty of examples. You look at the Denver Broncos when they won it. They went out and got DeMarcus Ware in the offseason. They pick up DeMarcus Ware. It makes it that much easier for Von Miller. Look what the Rams did. They went and got OBJ and Von Miller during the season. Alshon Jeffrey to the Eagles 9 years ago. They couldn't stop Alshon Jeffrey. I don't know why they didn't play Malcolm Butler. But to that point, you have to take a swing at some point. And there's countless examples of teams showing you take this swing at will and can potentially pay off. Sorry,
and Tampa Bay, by the way, just to your point, Braylon, Tampa Bay, as Cody Ingle said, they signed AB and Gronk. Yeah. And that was Brady as well, but they went out and got AB and Gronk too.
Even the Chiefs did it. For as much as we make about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, well, they went out and got Frank Clark. Frank Clark, I always bring it up.
That's right.
He's the all-time leading playoff sack leader. He went to the Chiefs and got busy.
So, Doc, as good as they draft, they fail on their free agency. They do. They absolutely fail. And they cannot flail anymore. They've got to go out. Don't give me injured players anymore. Don't give me Emmanuel Mosley's anymore. Please.
Davenport.
Absolutely. You guys are absolutely right in regards to free agency can be better. But first, let's always credit Brad Holmes for what he's able to do in the draft. You do think potentially, hey, maybe Broderick Martin, you hope that Casey Rogers is able to work magic with some of these developmental players, with Manu, with some of these guys if they've targeted. But you could argue that, Manu, Hendon Hooker, and Broderick Martin, if they were 3 more impactful young defensive linemen, you could also say that, hey, you can draft your way to a championship if you draft the right guys. The Eagles drafted some guys as well that were flops, but
Yeah.
but the efforts that they made to draft young, hungry defensive linemen have been fruitful, and they've all paid off. So look, in the end, remember, this is still early, year 5 now with this regime. I think adaptations will be made, and I think that you can learn lessons each and every year. The Lions are going to have a lot more cracks at it, but we can make the argument that one got away in 2023. That year where they lost to the 49ers was a Lions year. That's a wasted year. Last year, the injuries, it was attrition. It's a bad luck year, but I do think the Lions could have had a Super Bowl in this window if it was done differently. But it doesn't preclude me from saying that the Lions have a great GM, one of their best of all time. I do like the way that they're able to stock this team with talent. But we're talking about the highest level of decision making. You got to be one step ahead of a genius in Howie Roseman, and you got to be able to take some calculated risks and be able to close the deal. Like, what's wrong with me saying, hey, what's wrong with Maz and Braylon and you guys and Ryan saying, hey, go out and bring Myles Garrett here. That's the job of the general manager, is not to I don't personally care if he calls. I reported that on last Wednesday. Yeah, they called. That's great. That's the basic floor of what your job is. Call and find out. But to me, as a fan, as a reporter, my next step is, can you close? Because it looks like to me, Brad Holmes, and the metaphor is, he's the kind of the guy that goes for a house and is kind of like, yeah, it's too expensive, goes to the next house, too expensive. He wants to window shop 15 houses and is like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want to do that. No, not in my price range. Meanwhile, you got these rich dudes with cash coming in and buying every single house right in front of you going, hey, if I want something, you go out, you got to pay for it. And Brad's kind of trying to find value and try to find the perfect fit. Hey, sometimes there's going to be a cash buyer, and the cash buyer is Howie Roseman, and he don't care about your feelings about value. He just wants the best players. And so, Brad Holmes, pull out your dollars and stop worrying about the value. Close the deal. Close the deal by now. Let's go.
That's a mic drop right there, Doc. That's a mic drop. John Dak Maakaron joining us here on Woodward Sports, Ermanni Edwards and Maz. All right, can we officially call the Hendon Hooker experience a flop? I mean, we're hearing it all out there. Joe Milton, who is a backup quarterback with the Patriots, supposedly is garnering so much trade talk right now. He could be the best quarterback in this draft class, and he's already played a year and won a game for the New England Patriots. Meanwhile, our guy, Hendon Hooker, got benched for a high school coach in a playoff game. Is it over?
Okay, now look, this is one of those deals where I know the favorite position to talk about is the backup quarterback, the backup goalie. But in the end, if Hendon Hooker was playing, something's wrong because you paid Jared Goff to do the job. So in the end, Hendon Hooker's job is a developmental quarterback. His job is to just get a little bit better should something happen to Jared Goff. Now,
it did. It did.
Well, he played bad, but you're not going to pull him for Hendon Hooker. So,
no, Doc. He didn't play in the playoff game when Goff went out with a concussion. Basically, went to the blue tent. They brought Teddy Bridgewater in. Hendon Hooker was an emergency quarterback.
Absolutely, and so I understand. Look, coaches like veterans; they understand where they're at. It does send the bad signal clearly when you bring back Teddy Bridgewater, but that was the plan all along. Teddy and Hendon are close. So it's not as I understand the way in which it's perceived. It's bad, but I look at it from the perspective of the Lions developing a quarterback. It's okay. It's one of those situations not as bad as people perceive it to be because you want Jared Goff. He gives you for the next 3 years your best chance to win a Super Bowl. So yes, but here's the question you're asking. Do I think that there's better options out there to bring here to compete? Absolutely, and they should always look to do that. But I look at it from the perspective of when you give Jared Goff that contract, it kind of makes the backup job irrelevant because for the Lions to have the chance to win the most games, to compete at the highest level, you want to give Jared Goff as many weapons as possible. Look, Hendon Hooker is just a player at this point in time who's inexperienced at this level, but he does have a factor that people like with his mobility. But I would not be surprised at all if the Lions bring a Jalen Milroe or somebody else in that's a veteran to compete. It's all about competition. But I think where your question lies, it's fair. In 2025, if Jared Goff goes down, the Lions are still out at this point.
Doc, you bring up Jalen Milroe. That's exactly where I want to go before we get you out of here. I know you were down there at the Combine. Lions, all defense. That's been the talk. Defense. Maybe offensive lineman here or there somewhere. There was a lot of showing out, man, by these defensive linemen as well as some linebackers, which are two spots I really think Detroit should focus on. Where they're picking. What did you see? Were you excited at what you saw? Because I got a couple of names, man, and I'll just let you go.
Yeah, man, it was great. The deepest class is in along the defensive line, defensive tackles. We did a mock draft recently. We loved Jahad Campbell, what he did there. We love that spot at number 28. But in the end, I do think the Lions are going to walk away with this opportunity to draft in the trenches. I think that's where you need to go. I do think that there's a lot of depth along the defensive line to find that edge rusher that you could develop. I think the Boston College, Dominic, that last name is brutal for me. The 16 and a half sacks is unbelievable. He stood out at the Combine. You look at a Shamar Stewart, James Pierce, lots of players that stood out and have an opportunity to play well. Mike Green as well. I think that the defensive edge class has so many prospects that you could find multiple players even on day 2. So I'm confident. Now, if you just want to look at the other side, because look, everybody's talking about all the edges and defensive linemen. I'm also in love with some of these offensive linemen. Josh, I as a state guy, give me credit, guys.
I'm wearing green today. I'm wearing green today. You see that?
I went to the Big House multiple times to scout Texas, to scout Oregon. And they have some linemen that would be monsters to add. Josh Connerly's great. Donovan Jackson, I think, would be solid. You realize that Gray Zabel could also be a target as well. So I'm very happy with what they could do in the trenches. I'm curious on day 2 and 3, what positions are they going to target? Because you also have needs youth-wise along the offensive line. You want depth at cornerback, at linebacker. So I think this draft, guys, book it. I think Brad Holmes nails it. It's going to have an A+ impact for many years to come. I think there's a lot of talent at spots where the Lions are looking, and there's so many good players. But, yeah, you got to answer the question, who's going to play opposite of Aiden? And while we all would love it to be Myles Garrett, if it's a young player, I think you can get some value too, even in free agency too, which hopefully if we talk again, maybe next week, we'll start to talk about free agency.
F those picks.
The DOC, the great John Doc Maakaron, covers the Lions for SI.com on X at Detroit Podcast 1. DOC, baby. That's what's up. Thanks, my man.
Pleasure.
We appreciate talking again soon.
Appreciate it, man.
So, yeah, Doc.
Follow me at Detroit Podcast for all Detroit Lions coverage. I look forward to talking to you guys again. Go Green.
Good job, Doc. Not going to say that. I'm not going there.
Go Izzo. Go Izzo.
Go Izzo. That's right. Go Green, go Izzo. All right, guys. A lot to chew on there. Lots happening in the NFL. Just even during the interview that we just had with Doc. We'll get to that next. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
All right, man. Your Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential. With over 50 metropolitan Detroit locations, it's the gym for you. It's the gym for everybody. I signed up yesterday. I got my membership. Now I'm in the door. Now all the muscles and everything you see, I can now say I attribute that to Planet Fitness. This is where you need to come because the gym is super clean. That's the first thing I noticed when I walked in. The gym was spick and span top to bottom. Also the people that are friendly. They're people, persons that want to get you into the gym. They want to get you in shape. And also there's no judgment. So you come on down our gym, you take your time. You work out at your own pace because there's no judgment. We just want you to come in and get in shape because spring is around the corner. We'll see you soon.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won. This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. We take the chore out of getting a haircut. Our talented stylist will deliver an industry-leading haircut, relaxing scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Also, worth reminding, we are doing Super Chat today. If you are in YouTube and you donate $5 or more in the Super Chat, you will be entered to win a free haircut, hot leather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment at our Birmingham, Michigan, Lady Jane's headquarters. We will do that. Everybody that donates during the week, we will put you in a drawing, and we will pick that winner on Friday. By the way, today, there is one person, New Jordan Era. So if the week ended today, New Jordan Era would be the guy that gets that hot lather neck shave. And probably another 15 minutes or so, New Jordan Era, leader in the clubhouse at $5.
He can be on the show.
VMix, he could be.
If he wants to be.
If he wants to be. New Jordan Era, stay in touch with Maz here in the chat, and we'll see where we land here coming. Hey, man, it is what it is.
And down the stretch they come.
And that's why I said tomorrow,
That's right.
so we get a fix on it.
Well, that's what it is, baby.
$5 gets you on the show.
That's what it does. Today it might. Today it might. We got 10
Today's
minutes.
money ain't tomorrow's money, though.
Yeah, today's money ain't tomorrow's money.
Could be $6 tomorrow.
That's right. It'd be $6.
Anyone that wants to outbid him,
Right.
$5 is the number right now.
That's it.
If you want to be on this show, I mean,
if I had that ability, honestly, if I had that
Cody
ability.
Engel, where are you guys? Don't you want to talk?
Jeez.
You talk crap on here. At least talk to us now.
Goodness.
Come on, Altair.
Hey, big NFL news today. Let's get to it. And I really hate this for T. Higgins. Love it for the Cincinnati Bengals fans and everything like that. But T. Higgins has been franchise tagged for a second time. So Cincinnati not going to sign him to a long-term deal.
He can't get the hell out of there.
Not letting him go to free agency. Wow. $26.5 million for a guy that probably could make well over $30 million. There's no doubt about that. Maybe even $31, $32 million a year. T. Higgins. Hate this for the player. Hate this for the player. They should get that changed.
Yeah.
The league, I'm saying. The league should do something about it.
One franchise tag is all you get.
You can one-time franchise tag, but that's it.
Because if he gets hurt making this $26 million, he's out of luck.
Right.
He's SOL, and this happened before. Javon Walker had the same thing happen in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Like, remember, he
They
held
didn't
out
want
of
to sign
camp.
him.
Brett Favre decided to speak up and say something. That's why I hate Brett Favre. But he spoke up. Javon came back to hurt. Javon tore his ACL right down the street at Ford Field and missed out on a big bag. Look, at the end of the day, it sucks for the player. You know, I know guys are going to come up here and be like, oh, my God, it's $26 million, but it's just about job security. It's about the financial security. If he gets hurt, it is what it is, and it sucks that this is the second time a receiver at this caliber. Like, that's what the NFL deal is. You come in, you play your game, you do what you're supposed to do, you show out, you deserve to get paid. You deserve a longer-term deal. I mean, that's what we pride and pray guys on here in Detroit. That should be the same everywhere. It shouldn't have to be a GM. Everyone should understand that T. Higgins is the guy that helped you get to a Super Bowl. Last time I checked, he had over 100 yards in that Super Bowl. You know, he's had over 1,000 yards with every year except 2 seasons, and those seasons were 900 a pop. This is a guy that can play at the highest level, man. He should get paid, much like the Eagles did Devontae Smith. They paid A.J. Brown all that money, but they knew that they had to pay their number 2 as well, so they paid Devontae Smith. He's the guy that should have got paid.
That's still a hell of a trio over there. Joe Burrow, him.
And even the other running back, too. I like him a lot as well. Not Zach, the other guy, Moss, the younger guy that took over. But
Bengals will rebound this year.
It sucks for T. Higgins. Will they?
I think so.
But you're still making moves like this. This goes to the organization. They don't take care of their players. They create these spaces. T. Higgins ain't a happy player. Like, his energy isn't going to be good.
I always wonder about that, Braylon. I don't think you can underscore that.
Now I'm going to just come in there and I'm going to just do everything I'm supposed to do because that's what I'm supposed to do and I'm supposed to get paid. Yes, you are, but at the same time, it's a way in which you conduct business. And this is going to piss T. Higgins off.
I don't think you can underscore that, Braylon. I think
Jamar Chase still ain't got
nail meathead. I think you hit it because when you are a player that feels disrespected, when you are a player that doesn't want to play for the organization under these circumstances, it is very hard.
And then you see
these are people at the same time. You know what I mean?
And then you have other
human
players,
beings.
You have other teammates that'll see this, and what is their responsibility? They got a contract coming up in a year, or their contract is up, or they got 2 years. They're looking like it doesn't matter what I do for this franchise. They're either going to ship me off like they did DJ Reader or countless other players, or they're going to hold me here as a hostage and not pay me. So now my energy isn't right. You can say what you want to about a player, but that energy, if it's not right, now you got guys talking about the franchise. Man, I can't wait to get out of here. I hope they do a deal to get me out of here. And that's the energy that you have going into your season. You can't win like that.
They did get an F, right, on their team report card grades. Did you guys go over that when I was out?
No, I didn't, but I want to keep going on.
We did a little.
Yeah, we went through
team report card grades. Yeah,
they got an F minus.
Really?
An F minus.
Wow.
The Bengals.
I've got a lot of Fs. I didn't know you could get an F minus.
I mean everything. They are the lowest of the low.
No offense, but DJ Moore makes $27 million. I'm sorry, but T. Higgins is a much better wide receiver than DJ Moore to me.
Oh, yeah. Then they're going to have to pay him, and they should have paid him. And here they are, lowballing him and lowballing his health and everything else. I mean, players their health is guaranteed now, but that money isn't.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you know what I hate about this too? The team that I was kind of eyeballing, because I said Kansas City's not making the playoffs this year.
Right.
But the one, I was like, okay, I can make a play for 6 teams.
Cincinnati is your 7th?
Well, no, I was going to say I could make a play for 6 teams to get into the playoffs
I got you.
next year. I think Cincinnati might have even been one of them. I needed that 7th team. I needed to look at the AFC picture and point to a 7th team, and I think this hurts my dark horse 7th team to get in.
Who was that?
New England.
Yeah.
They got like $100 million.
Yeah.
They got a ton of cap space.
They do.
They got Mike Vrabel, and they got a quarterback that they believe in.
And they have Joe Milton where they might deal.
And I think if they could have gotten a guy like T. Higgins, I mean, that could be.
They wanted him.
They could be something.
They wanted him.
But again, like, I blame the Players Association too for allowing this sort of ability to tag a player more than one time, because you shouldn't do that. That is
the NFL Association is tough though. It's difficult. It's not the NBA where it's 13 players on a team and it's run by the league, it's run by the players. LeBron can do whatever the hell he wants to, and that trickles down to all the players. Pro football is not like that because you got 61 guys on the team giving. So look at that throughout the course. And then you got the top 1% making this. And then you got the lower tier guys damn near making nothing. So when you try to have these holdouts and these lockouts to really get business done, it's the guys at the top that are making all the bread that sign the deals, and they leave the guys out at the bottom. And then the guys at the bottom, if they're holding out, these guys are struggling to make money as there is a lockout because there is no cash going out. So the way it's structured and the way they got the good old boy system, it's tough for the NFL to really actually create real change because there is no power. Whenever you can tell your star players, like, we'll move on. Like, they moved on from Peyton Manning. They moved on from Tom Brady. Granted, they were years older in their career. There's no true power in players in NFL.
And again, for Cincinnati, too, their problem was not offense. Last year, they were 9-8. They won their last 5 games of the year. It was defense.
Shootout.
So I mean, you got to take some of that money and get some defensive players too, man. You can't just try to score 40 points a game and call it a day.
Their offense has them playing with the best teams in the league. Baltimore is one of the best teams in the league every year. Both games against Baltimore, the Cincinnati Bengals should have won.
They were in the 40s both times.
They should have won. Like, it was no way in hell, especially the first game, man.
Yeah.
The one that went to overtime, it's no
That
reason.
was Zach. That was
the
Zach.
kicker.
What's his name?
Guess what? He was a draft pick.
That was his loss.
He's a
Zach
second-round draft pick. They wasted on him. But, yeah, like, they were right there. Their offense is good enough to contend with the best team, including Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, or even the Lions and the Eagles. That defense stinks. Outside of Trey Hendrickson, he's your only player.
Listen, before we get over to the other NFL stuff, I'm getting some feedback, some pushback on the Hendon Hooker stuff that I bring up.
Oh, God.
And there are a lot of people in the chat, a lot of people that listen to us, that actually think that he still has a lot of value to teams. I got guys, he's going to get traded. I got other guys saying, yeah, he's going to, for sure we could trade him. He's definitely worth something. There's going to be teams that want him.
What?
And Doc Maakaron didn't understand what I was trying to say to him. I was trying to say the Lions ruined his trade value by bringing in Teddy Bridgewater. Then people tell me, well, Maz, you need a veteran quarterback in the playoffs in case. Not if you have a good backup quarterback that you drafted and have trained, that knows the playbook, that has been with you for 2 years. So when I tell you he's worth nothing, they can maybe get a 7th-round draft pick from some low team that wants to roll the dice on this kid. Maybe the Jets will be that team that gives him a 7th-round pick because they have a history there, of course, with Aaron Glenn. I don't know. Maybe Ben Johnson will take him. I doubt it. He's already got Taylor Bagent as the backup quarterback there. He's nothing more now than a developmental quarterback, but he's nearing his late 20s already. So what I'm saying about Hooker is he's a hook. He's gone. He's nothing.
He almost has it.
He might have to fight to be the backup
Yes.
this year.
Right.
Yes. He'll fight to be on this team next season.
Doc understood completely. Maz, you're wrong as always. Chill out, Monk. That's great. I love it. Guys are great about this. Hey, one more breaking news piece that happened during the. You all right?
I was saying there's nothing there with Hendon Hooker. Like, he's a systematic quarterback that played under Josh Heupel. Joe Milton had the same numbers that Hendon Hooker did. And guess what? The quarterback that they had this past year, he had the same numbers as well. He's a system guy. It's a system at Tennessee. That system ain't the NFL. It's not going to look the same. And he looked like a deer in headlights in training camp, with the exception of a couple runs here and there. But we didn't bring him here to be a running quarterback. So, look, I'm not trying to be optimistic. I'm trying to be honest. And Hendon Hooker's not going to be a backup quarterback here in Detroit. It just is what it is.
Hey, one of the things that broke during the interview with Doc Maakaron was that if you're into this kind of stuff like I am, I mean, this is big news, and you knew the end was near, but Jimmy Johnson has retired from Fox Sports after 31 years.
Now that is crazy.
With the network. When I heard how many years he had been with Fox Sports, I remember when he came over.
Yeah.
From coaching.
We're old, man.
He took a break,
the fact
too.
that is 31 years.
Well, 30 years is the last time the Cowboys got in the NFC Championship.
Just remarkable.
He was running them short.
It is, man.
How about them Cowboys?
He's a perfect example of when the time comes, whenever that time is, it's different for everybody. But when that time comes, have the decency to say, you know what, I appreciate this ride. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and bow out. There's so many individuals that get stuck on TV.
Terry.
Because I don't even want to say names. I don't want to be disrespectful.
I like Terry.
But there's
forget about him.
But there's so many people on air that just do not know how to leave. And guess what? The people next to them, they don't know how to push them out the door or help them with the process. Thank you to Jimmy. Jenny still had his wits about him, still was sharp, and he left. And guess what? His memory forever will be intact.
Let me ask you
So
guys
Gronk
this.
moves into his spot.
Gronk moves into his spot.
Unless he plays football.
Well, he's not going to play football.
that's
But
okay.
Well, he
Gronk-
said he wants to.
Gronk moves
Yeah,
into this spot unless they want to hire somebody else or bring somebody. You know, they have a bench, right? Their bench is that 11 a.m. show with Michael Vick and Charles Woodson.
And the local broadcasters. They have the local broadcasters.
It's tough.
Vic is the coach now. He's out at Fox too.
Norfolk
But
State.
I don't remember where, but Vic is out. But that 11 o'clock is kind of served as the bench. A lot of guys.
I got a great guy for that place.
Who?
Tom Brady.
And you know what? He might be. He might be the best guy to replace Terry Bradshaw when it's time to go. But Braylon, you mentioned something.
It's time.
You know, forget about Bradshaw for a minute. Forget about Bradshaw.
Lee
for a minute.
Corso?
Yes.
That's what I was.
That's what.
Those
It's
were
dangerous.
I mean,
It's dangerous.
I don't want to say
He almost
like,
fell off the stage the last
I
time.
don't know, man. Is it cool? Sometimes I watch this and I feel so bad. Like
I'm nervous
don't-
watching him.
Now this isn't an age thing either, because to me there is no better college basketball analyst going today than Bill Rafferty. Onions.
Yep.
Nobody better. Dude was in 3 different time zones in 4 days calling college basketball, and at the peak of his career, Bill Rafferty. And I believe he's like 81 years old himself.
Yes,
College
he is.
basketball was good this weekend, by the way.
So this isn't an age thing, but Corso, man, can barely speak, can barely get it out. He's like a caricature of himself. I don't know if it's cute or embarrassing. I don't know. I something feels like it's just not right about Corso still doing that show.
It's not right. And he's almost like a pet of Kirk Herbstreit's. And you can see
Yes.
Kirk's like his son. So Kirk is looking at him, and you can see he's like gritting his teeth, hoping that Lee's will be able to finish what he's saying. And then when you put the head of the mascot on,
Can't
like
get it off.
it's hard, man. I loved Lee Corso. I thought he was a great addition to College Game Day.
Yeah,
But
30 years ago.
It's time, man.
Right.
It's time.
Like Lee Corso's been on it since I was at Michigan.
We going the way of Dick Clark?
I think game day started in like what, 98?
Yeah, I feel like there's just a media problem. Like people just don't know. Like you said, people just don't know when to leave.
Well, there's
It's
a lot.
too long.
Listen. Especially for these jobs, there's a lot of money at stake. I don't know any of us that are willing to give up that kind of paycheck. Number one, and number two, when you work 2 days a week, half the year,
Right.
people are going, oh, this is too hard for me. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's a lot of Terry Bradshaw haters out there.
I don't hate him. I respect
well,
him.
whatever. I'm just saying, Terry ain't giving that job up. He's got too many ex-wives.
Too many daughters.
I mean, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But
No,
but why, if
there's
you're
some truth
Terry
in that.
Bradshaw, would you ever give that job up? You make, I don't know what you make, maybe $10, $20 million.
It shouldn't be up to him.
Well, I'm saying though, but you can't. People
He's
don't
saying
know
you
when to
can't
give it
blame
up.
him.
I'm not giving up that paycheck to work 1 day a week, 2 days a week, half the year. You're gonna have to kick me out.
At some point, this is where the family and the wives and the husband and the kids and the grandkids come into play and say, look, I get it that you want to be selfish for the cash, but damn, you ain't in no more. Like when you're on TV, like you're slurring your words. Like we don't know if you're gonna get the team right. You're talking about University of Michigan Wolverines, but you're calling them the Badgers. Like it's time for the kids, the grandkids, you know, to step in, and the husbands, the wives. Hey, look, all right, come on.
Come on, you know it's easier said than done. Have you ever tried to tell your dad something nowadays? That is a lot easier.
But that ain't my- but that-
Think about it. You ever try to tell your dad something simple?
Yeah, but I would be able to tell my.
Whoa.
Come on, you know who it's spade to spade. Call it like Pat Pops. You're embarrassing yourself.
Man, my dad would shut up.
But you telling me? But I disagree because if I told my dad was embarrassing himself, like my dad be like, all right, you know what? Based on that merit, I appreciate. I would just tell him straight. Like I wouldn't sugarcoat him. Like, hey, Dad, you know, you ready for the next step? You know, there's a lot of golf to be played. I just tell him straight up, like you're falling asleep on camera, consistent.
Right. Right, no doubt. But I mean, I worked on the College Game Day set. Tori says this. I worked on the College Game Day set, and this is a conversation that is not allowed anywhere near that set.
And are you allowed to talk about it?
But like, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, and a couple of people have mentioned Dickie V in this too. Now, Dick Vitale had
Cancer
and
vocal
vocal
cord
cord
cancer. Yeah.
cancer. I think he's called one game this year.
This
You
past
know what
weekend.
I mean? It's
He
just-
called it on Saturday. It was a hell of a game.
Oh, did he?
He
Alabama
did good.
down to the wire.
I didn't hear it.
Tennessee, he
1-point
did
win.
good. I watched it.
Tennessee
I don't
won
watch-
it at the gun.
I told you, people, I don't watch until the tournament.
Basketball is an interesting sport because you'll see coaches like not have success or get fired and then pop up different places and do well. The number one team in the country, Bruce Pearl, was at Tennessee for years.
Unbelievable.
They kicked him out of there, and like, he's been nothing but great everywhere he's been. Like sometimes those are questions that I have because I wouldn't have fired Bruce Pearl. I don't know what happened inside the program, but he's really good at Tennessee for a while, and now they're the number one team, and they were good last year. They upset somebody 2 years ago.
I'll tell you what, Izzo's got a Final Four team. He does.
Yeah.
He's going to win this year.
We can talk about it next. Also go around the NFL. Lots to get to. Okay, never mind. Thanks. Pete will want to keep going here, I guess. Okay, good. You had some technical issues. That's all good. We'll take a break, our 3:20 break. We'll take that right now. Come right back. And by the way, Maz is going to try to get in touch with our good friend, who is our guy here?
Jordan?
Yeah, do you have that?
I will.
You're right, though. Let's try to get in touch with Jordan. If you want to be on the show, buddy, we'll get you a link. Get in touch with Maz through the chat. We'll do that. But first, a message from Dr. Pierce.
All right, guys. Attention, sports fans. Do not miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy. He joins us on Thursdays. Trust the guy at DMAC. Trust, you know that. Give him a call today, 248-426-9944. Check him out online as well at MichiganSportsAndSpine.com. It's Dr. Jeff Pierce.
No one gives away more cash and prizes than Woodward Sports. You don't believe us? Here's our latest $10,000 winner.
You know, you guys posted, hey, if you guess all this stuff right, we'll give it's $10,000. I'm like, okay, well, why the hell not?
And the winning doesn't stop there. How about our Outkick Your Coverage winner?
I think you won.
This guy's got a hot girl.
Bigger prizes, bigger giveaways, cash, merch, tickets, and more. All from the biggest sports network in Detroit. No one does it bigger and better than Woodward Sports. Make sure you're following, liking, subscribing on Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube for your chances to share in the winning. From Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
I know you're tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch. It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate set swag. You need to go to shop.woodwardsports.com. Check out the new merch we have, especially for the Tiger season starting up. Hoodies, tees, hats, all guaranteed to turn heads. Again, that website, you have to go to it right now to get you some new Detroit sports merch. Shop.woodwardsports.com.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway. Tom, how you doing over there? You good?
Excited.
I love it. Okay.
You guys can do what you want.
Very good. I love that. I wanted to mention this. You mentioned college basketball. Braylon. You watched this weekend. Michigan looks like they're an absolute disaster at this point. They look totally lost, and I hope they can regain something by the time the tournament starts. But as Maz said, Tom Izzo looks like he's got himself another Final Four team. But I'm not sure it's just good enough to get to the Final Four anymore for Izzo and Michigan State. This is the year they got to win it all.
Yeah, starting with Michigan. Look, I'm excited that they got here. I think we got to clap it up for Destiny May. This team wasn't supposed to succeed and have this type of success, so definitely excited that they were even contending for number one in this division. But the problem is they can't rebound, they can't make free throws, and they don't hit open shots. Yeah, and that's been the problem. Even though they've won on this stretch of games, a bunch of 2-point wins, a 1-point win here or there, a lot of these games, you look at the field goal percentage, you look at the free throw percentage, you look at the rebounding, just not good. And I think it caught up to them. In fact, I know it caught up to them. Looking at the Michigan State side, this has got to be it for Tom Izzo. Like, this has got to be the one. They played tremendous basketball down the stretch. They played a gauntlet of games, and they're 5-0 in that game, including a win against Michigan, Maryland, insert team here, Wisconsin. They're rocking and rolling right now, and they're doing it on both ends of the floor. The defense has really been good for them. So they've got a squad now that's been together. And then Jason Richardson's son, Jace, is killing it as well. They got a squad that's been together 2-3 years. That's what you need to have. Tom Izzo with a squad that he's been with for 2-3 years in this current climate. I think he's gonna he can make some real noise in this tournament, man. Yeah,
they're home for Michigan to end the season. Yeah. They got the Big Ten in their hand. That loss yesterday that Michigan had, and they were terrible. They were terrible. They were really never in that game. They got run off the court by a mid-level Illinois team. So now they have to go to Maryland tomorrow, beat them. Who remember Michigan State, how they beat Maryland on the road?
Maryland had a
half-court shot to beat them.
That happened to Maryland 3 times. Ohio State hit a buzzer beater. Michigan beat a buzzer
beater.
They're
good.
Michigan State beat a buzzer beater. So Maryland's no slouch.
Oh,
Just, at the end of the game, they've come up on the unlucky side of things, but it's not going to be an easy game. Michigan, like you said, they can walk up to the tournament 4 losses in a row.
Yeah, that's not a good way to go in, but do not take anything away from this team.
College basketball. Go ahead, man.
No, go ahead, man.
I was going to say as a whole, though, college basketball has definitely been a product that I've been tapping into. I think we've talked about what college basketball is, and it's like you're really only watching the Sweet 16 and maybe a little further. I watched this weekend, and it had that excitement. Remember Saturdays?
I find
10,
myself watching
15.
St. John's a little bit.
That's what I'm saying, but it has that excitement that it used to have. Saturdays around this time were for college basketball. You sit around the house, you clean up a little bit, you hear that noise come on CBS, here's Dickie V. A little bit of that was there this past Saturday. I really enjoyed that Tennessee and Alabama game.
That was a great finish, great finish. I had it on because the Red Wings was supposed to be on at that time, so they kind of preempted the Red Wing game. It went too long, so Red Wings, of course, played out doors at the Horseshoe, and they got swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets. But that was a fun game to tap into.
Does that bother you? Are you worried about that? Because the Columbus Blue Jackets are not as good as the Detroit Red Wings. However,
the Jackets are as good as the Detroit Red Wings. They are. And the trade deadline is this Friday for the NHL.
Before the hockey stuff, let me just make one.
I just brought it up because of the college basketball.
Okay, question for you about Tom Izzo. In the Michigan State, people are going to hate this question. But doesn't Tom Izzo seem like he has made a Jim Harbaugh-type transformation from this epically strong-headed, strong-willed head coach to this guy that's just, yes, he's still demanding, but he looks like he's having a time of his life with these kids right now.
It's funny you
Pause.
said that.
And it is, and again, here's the Michigan guy. I got to give a Michigan reference. Take the analogy for what it is.
Yeah.
I think it feels exactly like that.
I was having this conversation with a guy in the gym today. It's funny you bring that up. I always forget what his name is, but he's a Michigan State guy. Michigan, it's a little bit of back and forth, as we're doing our various workouts. But we talked about it today. I was like, your squad looks official. It looks like Tom Izzo has figured it out. And he was like, yeah, man, it seems like the door is open for the players. It seems like he's working with the players as against. And it literally, the whole conversation just took spin, like you're saying. Jim Harbaugh, when he got to Michigan, Like, even when I played for him when he was the 49ers, doors never open. It's always his word. There's no, having a conversation and get to a different point, or maybe you see my side and maybe I can help or add some adaptation. This is how things are going to go. And that's how he was his first 6 years in Michigan. When 2021 hired a different staff, he got younger. He opened up his door for players. He let them be a part of the problem and the solution. And I think, to your point, that's what it looks like it is for Izzo. Like, it looks like his players are having more fun. It looks like there's more back and forth as opposed to talking to them and yelling at them. They're working through some things together. I definitely see the same thing you saw, because it took Jim to have to say, look, when you've done something for a very long time, it's hard to switch at 50-plus years of age. Jim Harbaugh is 55. Tom Izzo is older, and he has a national championship to his name. For him to be able to have the sense of awareness to say, you know what, something has to change, and be able to change that, you got to give him a lot of credit. And you're seeing it. I agree with you.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I just it just looks like anyway. So forgive the analogy, but by the way, Jim Harbaugh did win a national championship, and there's no reason why Tom Izzo can't have the same fate. It certainly looks like that. I mean, when you look at college basketball, I think the most epic Final Four that they could have right now is Michigan State, Duke, St. John's, and Auburn, because Auburn is
the number 1 seed,
the number 1 team in the country. Bruce Pearl is as out there as a coach as you could possibly be. Yeah. You have the Charles Barkley factor on TNT and True TV and TBS and all that, CBS, so he would be involved. I think that would be the most epic Final Four that you could possibly have this year.
Yeah, I think so. Everybody wants to see Duke. It is what it is. They got the player in Cooper Flagg is probably going number 1 overall, so you want to see what that's like. You want to see him in there. Like you say, Auburn's number 1. It's always good to see the number 1 seed, especially when it's represented by Charles Barkley.
And a clear number 1 seed,
it's not close. Like, their talent is much better than the opposition. Their best players stand up, include 30 points by their guard. And then, like you said, the other one will be St. John's. You got the story of with Rick Pitino. This will be his 4th team inside the Final Four. That's a hell of a career for a coach, and it seems like he's having fun again once again.
The whiteout, and again, I told this story last week, Maz, and I think you may have heard it as well. Rick Pitino saying that he will never recruit a high school basketball player again, because college basketball in the NIL and the transfer portal era is now like the EuroLeague. In the EuroLeague, it is very rare where you have the same player 2 years in a row. They are all 1-year contracts. And so he said that is his approach. He will have, 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th year players playing for St. John's as long as he is there. And he also did not close the door on going back to the NBA. God. He said when asked if he would take the Indiana job, because Indiana apparently was going to go hard after him. He said that he will never take another college job, and he accentuated the college part of it. I mean, if you're an NBA team, Rick Pitino can downright coach.
Yeah, he can.
Period. End of story.
I talked to Neil Rule earlier, and he does, of course, Oakland basketball. So we're close with Coach Campy. Coach Campy reiterated what Rick Pitino said. They don't have the money and time to invest in a high school player, to really go after them, and they're going to get some really big money start to be injected into Oakland U in their athletics. So they're going to be players, but they can't go after these kids, because what's going to happen? Those kids are going to leave in a second because someone else gives them something more. So he's on the same trail as Rick Pitino, talking about Greg Campy, who we love. And he took that OU team to the brink last year, man. That was a hell of a run.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing as you look at at the college level. If you don't have a quarterback, like I wouldn't recruit that's how I would play it. I would play it just like that. I wouldn't go after a 5-star quarterback and bring him in, and I got to sit him for a year and the whole Bryce Underwood what they did. I would go with a guy that's already been proven. You see the Bo Nix thing, Michael Penix Jr. Where's the next transfer? Caleb Williams was the transfer, if we all remember. So who's transferring from where? That's where I'm looking to go make my beans. So I agree with that basketball. Rick Pitino, in terms of you got to recruit players that are already played.
I got a perfect scenario for everybody. You ready for this?
Yep.
You want to hear this?
What are we talking about?
Rick Pitino.
Okay.
3-6 matchup. Pistons defeat the New York Knicks.
So
They
then
fire Tibbs.
the Knicks
Goes back to
are
the
higher
Knicks.
for
And there you go, Rick Pitino to the Knicks. I'm calling it right now. Hot take alert! Hot take alert!
I'm
Hot
with you.
take alert!
I'm with you. Thibodeau can
take.
only last so long.
Yeah.
Hot take
Hot
alert!
take
alert! Hot take alert! Hot take. I have it right now. There it is. The Pistons. Hot take alert! Pistons beat the Knicks in round 1. Knicks fired Tibbs. Pitino to the Knicks next year. Book it.
He was there already. Why not make it part 2?
You got anything? Does that leave you speechless?
How about the
Well, you-
Lakers
it
are the
just-
number 2
you-
seed in the West now?
You had me thinking. I'm like, what other team could I see potentially losing? Because there's only one team I think the Pistons could beat in the first round, and that's the Bucks. And the Bucks would be a nice spot for Rick Pitino. But I like that. Like you said, he's already been there. He's in St. John's, which is in New York right now. So I like it.
That's what's up.
I didn't see that coming.
All right, guys, we're going to take a break. We're going to try to get Jordan Lewis on, who is our Super Chat winner of the day, donated the most money in the chat today. And, hey, today's day 1. Today's price ain't tomorrow's price.
That's right.
But Jordan Lewis, the new Jordan era, we're expecting a phone call from him. He's going to join us in a couple of minutes. We're expected to be joined by him anyway. If not, we're going to continue on here. But first, a message from Les Stanford, Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. It's Les Stanford Sign and Drive sale. Get a 2024 Envision, only $239 per month. A 2025 Sierra Crew Cab Elevation, only $249 per month. Don't forget about the 2025 Hummer EV SUV, $789 per month. 0 security deposit, 0 due at signing, 0 first month payment, 0 acquisition fee. Get to Les Stanford today. Check out their massive inventory. Sign and Drive sale. Les Stanford, Buick, GMC, LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Ermanni and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, it's wicked awesome.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at LesStanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back. Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway, Spivak, and Ricky here as well. You good?
Yeah, I got a defensive end for you guys.
Who? Well,
Oh no.
go ahead.
I was gonna say Joey Bosa's gonna be free.
Ooh.
Joey Bosa's gonna be free.
Ooh.
What's he got left?
Just throwing it out there.
Hey, anything's better than what we have.
Talk about being availability being a problem though for Bosa. But
He fit right in then.
yeah, right.
He'd fit right in.
Right. So, hey, gang. So today is the start of our March shows, right? I mean, have we done a show in March yet?
No, this is it.
No, this is it. The start of our March shows.
Ides of March.
So one of the things we're doing this week is we're getting the super chat going again, and the person who donates the most money each day, we're going to give an opportunity to do video or audio and join the call. We gave Jordan Lewis the option today to do a video call with us or a phone call with us. Jordan Lewis is the winner today as we're just getting going here. And he joins us now via phone. Hey, Jordan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me well?
Absolutely. New Jordan era in the chat.
All right.
Thanks for contributing in the super chat, Jordan. What about the show today? Which direction do you want to go today? What do you want to hit on? Anything we talked about? Slay, Garrett, Michigan State, you tell me.
Oh, let's talk about the Pistons because the Pistons are on fire. Let's talk about the Pistons, please.
How has this turnaround gotten going for you? What do you make of this turnaround for the Detroit Pistons?
I am amazed about the turnaround like this. I was thought this the position the Pistons will maybe next year, not this year. This is supremely surprising. You know, Cade Cunningham, he's on another level. He's a star who might go into the superstar. And them making it being the play-in, but being the playoffs and make the playoffs, like it's remarkable. And hopefully we can play the Knicks because if we play the Knicks in the first round, I think we have a good chance to beat them in the first round of playoffs.
I was just going to ask you that, where I was going to ask you in terms of the playoffs, if the Pistons got an opportunity, who do you think they can beat? So you think that they could beat the Knicks by Cat and Jalen Brunson? I like that. I definitely like that. What about the Detroit Pistons, the way they play basketball, like, has you excited, has you back into it? Is there a certain player that you professionally like to watch? Is it Malik Beasley, or is it the style of play in general?
To me, it's the style of play. It's like they're playing Detroit Pistons basketball, as we've seen through the years, with the bad boys and with going to work Pistons. To see them finally play really Pistons basketball, as you know, me as a former Michigan, because I live in Los Angeles, but I'm born and raised in Michigan.
Respect.
But to see them play like Detroit Pistons basketball, as we all seen, you know, with Detroit Pistons, that's what got me sparked. It's like, okay, this team looks legit, and looks for real.
Jordan, it's Maz. Thanks for coming on with us, man. I was going to ask you, do you get down to the games to watch it? But now you're in L.A. Do you go out and watch the Lakers or the Clippers? What's your take on the Lakers being the number 2 seed all of a sudden in the West?
Well, I'll say the Lakers, they take it a little bit too expensive. You could probably catch me in the Clipper game. But, the Lakers, they're looking good. They're looking very, very good. You know, Luka, you know, he's, you know, getting his chemistry and, trying to get his rhythm with the Lakers and everything. And also how the Lakers are playing, you know, pretty good defense, you know, without their big Anthony Davis. So watch out for the Lakers in the West. You know, they can make some noise in the West.
Hey, Jordan, what's going on out there in L.A., man? What took you out to L.A., and where are you from back here? Or are you just a Detroit sports fan?
I'm born and raised in Pontiac. You know, been a Detroit Lions fan, Pistons, Wings, the Tigers. You know, all of that. Before I moved to LA, and I moved to Miami for schooling culinary. But I don't do that anymore. Then I met my wife there, got together, we got married, and we decided, you know what, let's just try another city, move to LA and everything. But actually tonight I'm going back to Michigan tonight. I'm flying out there tonight. I'm going to celebrate my daughter's birthday for the week because most of my family still lives in Michigan.
Dude, that's awesome. How did you find Woodward Sports, by the way? Just curious.
I've been listening to you guys for 4 years now.
Nice.
When you guys started, and I've been listening since. You know, it's just, I think, you know, what it started when with the Lions, when Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes started it and everything, and we talked about, you guys talked about, you know, how to, you know, year by year. We want to see how the Detroit can improve by, winning the division and now making it to the playoffs multiple times. And yeah, I just follow you guys ever since then, and it's kind of like, watching a family member or something like that. But it's all cool.
All right, give me a final thought here on the Pistons. How far do you think they can go, and who is most responsible for this run that they're on? Bickerstaff, Langdon, Cade. Who do you feel is most responsible, and how far can they go?
I would say it's definitely Langdon and Bickerstaff. I'm getting both the notch because before that, we had the other GM, and then he had multiple coaches and everything. I ain't gonna lie, he was good at drafting players, but when it comes to hiring people, he wasn't good at it. Now that we see Langdon there, and also JB Bickerstaff, which I think he's definitely the coach of the year, hands down, he's the coach of the year. I think they went in there, definitely changed the culture, as in them seeing them play Detroit basketball, and also I could see them if you play the Knicks. I can see maybe we'll go to the second round.
You're the man. Jordan Lewis, thanks so much.
Our
Safe
first
flight.
super chatter.
Our first super chat. Absolutely.
Too.
Good job, Jordan. Hopefully you have a safe flight back to Detroit today. Happy birthday to your daughter, and we'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks for being a supporter
Stay in touch
of
with
Woodward
us.
Sports.
All right, will do. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
You got
good,
it.
Jordan
Lewis on the super chat. New Jordan era. Pretty cool stuff. And again, a simple donation. He led the way today, and he was on with us.
Shout out to Jordan Lewis, not to be mistaken for another Jordan Lewis who played at the University of Michigan. He brings up a good point, though, and we've talked about it before. JB Bickerstaff for Coach of the Year. I would have said this was a slam dunk. Maz, in fact, last week when we mentioned it, I said it was a slam dunk. I said there's no way that you can choose somebody over JB Bickerstaff. Is there a chance that J.J. Redick could sway you the other way? You mentioned it. They're number 2 now in the West. Before Luka Doncic got there, I think they were fighting for the 6-7 spot. They're now number 2 this morning.
It's easy.
Still JB Bickerstaff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The Lakers have always been contenders, and they have supposedly one of the great players of all time on that team. And now they have 2 of the greatest players of all time on that team. The Pistons don't have that.
Okay.
They have Cade Cunningham, a kid that they drafted number 1 overall from Oklahoma State in a draft that was supposedly a down draft, and the kid has put himself on the map, put this team on his back, and they have built this team the right way. And you know what? Troy Weaver will get a little pat on the back from me. He will. You know what? He gets a little pat on the back. But the rest of this team, the way they look now, J.B. Bickerstaff, Trajan Langdon, they've done a fantastic job. And these players have bought in. You get a guy like Malik Beasley who wants to be here, preaches it, puts himself out there, says, don't trade me. This is where I want to be. And they want players that want to be there. And we always said, you got to trade for this guy, you got to trade for this guy. If they don't want to be in Detroit, they don't know what they're missing.
Honestly, I'd give more credit to Rob Pelinka than J.J. Redick, for pulling that off. And he didn't even give anything up. I mean, was it 1 draft pick?
We gave up Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
Well, if Anthony Davis was healthy, the Dallas Mavericks would probably be 3 or 4 right now.
If my uncle,
but he's not. He got hurt.
He'd be my aunt.
He got hurt.
Right.
He got hurt.
I mean,
he got hurt.
Oh man, I don't know.
When's he coming back? By the way.
Who? AD?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not his doctor. I think.
Okay.
I was laughing. I was laughing at the fact that Rob Pelinka. I was laughing at the fact that Rob Pelinka was getting credit over J.J. Redick. I thought that was fun.
Braylon Edwards.
That's the funniest.
He's here all week.
Tip your waiters.
Dynamite drop in, Monty.
Tip your waiters and waitresses.
You guys had to show
That was great.
That's so funny.
I was still trying to get over the Rob Pelinka conversation.
That is so funny.
My bad. Go Pistons.
You got a comment on Pelinka, you said, or no?
No, I don't. I think, you got to give J.J. Redick more credit than that because they were in contention the whole year and they made the move and started winning more games.
Yeah, that's good.
Also shows you LeBron and they play when they want to.
Oh, man. You want to get back to your Joey
Crazy
Wilson?
Clown said Maz is a Debbie Downer all the time. What the hell did I just say? What did I say? Clown, what did I say?
It's how you say it, man. It's just how you say it.
Oh, God.
It's all about.
He's like the church lady. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. Oh my God. You want to get back to Bosa?
Nah.
Okay,
He's done with Bosa.
Let me put this up because I saw this. I think this is a fun way to kind of end the show today. 2013. The NFL draft in 2013. You know, all these worst draft ever kind of things. You see this stuff. I don't think I've ever in my life seen a worse first round than this.
Ezekiel answer.
Leave this up. Leave this up. Okay? This is we've never seen anything like this. There isn't one player on there that
Lane Johnson.
Well, on the right side, there's a good wide receiver on that right side.
I love how you guys skipped over Lane Johnson.
Hopkins.
Y'all don't,
DeAndre Hopkins.
also because y'all Peninsula people.
Oh, Lane Johnson. We missed him too.
Okay, two guys.
Eric Fisher.
Two guys. Out of 32.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
You got
the
D
worst
Hop.
first
You
round
got,
ever.
so you got D Hop.
Yeah, it's pretty weak.
Xavier Rhodes is good.
It's
Tyler
pretty-
Higbee.
Emmanuel,
pretty
fresh off that
damn
Orange
weak.
Bowl victory over
Eric
Northern
Reed.
Illinois.
Eric Reed still playing at a high level for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, I mean, okay, if you compare this first round to any other first round, hard pressed to say you can't pick five guys out that were good.
How many Hall of Famers are on that list?
Zero.
Tavon
D-Hop.
Austin was nice.
D-Hop and Lane, I guess those
I
are
was
two.
actually in New York when D and Sheldon Richardson got drafted. I was in there in 13. I was with the Jets when they drafted
Really?
D. Miller was out of Alabama and Sheldon Richardson was out of Missouri.
I wanted the Lions to get D. Miller that year. Ezekiel Ansah was
wasn't
a
that
good
good.
player,
It just didn't
but,
work.
I mean,
Not
You
that
couldn't
high.
stay healthy either.
yeah.
That lopsided Orange Bowl between Florida State and Northern Illinois ruined E.J. Manuel.
Let me say it like this. This is where a team and a locker room and a culture can change a player. I know a lot of the guys that were on the team when Ziggy was here. I know what was going on in the locker room when Ziggy was here. Ziggy couldn't have the best success at that particular time. Like how this locker room is now, how it would have been with Dan Campbell in this particular team. I think Ziggy is a different player. His NFL career looks different if he's drafted by this regime.
Do you see DK Metcalf, the word on him?
No.
The Packers are trying to trade for him. Now, there's been a couple of reports that says maybe they can't do it. But what the Seahawks would want would be a draft pick and one of their young receivers to get DK Metcalf over to Green Bay.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at the NFC North, man, I mean, who's the worst team? Minnesota, and they won 14 games last year. I mean, if you had to put the teams in order, right? Is Chicago still the worst team?
Oh,
Yes.
you're saying based on what you have now?
Based on what you have right now, if you had to rank the NFC North, who's the worst team?
Bears.
I won't say
Bears.
worse, but like to your point, who finished fourth? Because
Who will finish fourth?
Bears.
I'm with the Bears.
I'm still
No,
on
it
that.
ain't going to be the
I'ma go-
Bears.
I
Wow.
I mean,
It's
Wow.
the quarterback.
I'm
I'm
going
not
I
sold on
can't.
Caleb.
I'm gonna go Minnesota.
I'm not sold
Yeah.
on Caleb.
I would have to say Minnesota at this point.
Well, it depends who their QB is.
Well,
I disagree.
Well, we could
It
talk
does-
about that a lot tomorrow, but their QB is going to be J.J. McCarthy. That's 100%, unless there's a medical situation with J.J. that
That's
we don't
why the Bears
know.
have finished last.
Yeah.
we should
JJ's
get one of
a
our
good
guys
QB.
from Minnesota on to talk about. We should do
I
that.
know who to get.
Let's do
A
that.
guy
I
from
know who
each
to get.
team in the NFC
Ben
North.
Ben
Lieber.
Lieber.
Right?
We'll get
Ben Lieber
Call
on.
our guy on.
Nacho Lieber.
Yeah.
Call Nacho Libre.
Hey, Tigers losing against the Blue Jays 13-3 today. Not that part matters. Gleyber Torres 0 for 2. Trey Sweeney with a nice game, 2 for 3. I'm just looking at guys that are regulars. Spencer Torkelson 0 for 2 today. Javi Baez 1 for 2. Finally got a hit there today. Jace Young 0 for not a lot of bats, but Scuba was solid. 3 innings, 3 Ks, 1 hit. So clean from him. That's really all that you care about.
Well, Parker Meadows is what I care about.
Yeah,
Parker
that's
Meadows,
such a shame.
they asked him. I mean, they don't talk about him. They don't talk about him. He has an injured upper right arm. And he says, I don't know when I can come back. They tell me it could be this week. They tell me it could be next
situation,
month.
Right?
Yes.
Pardon?
It's a
Yes.
nerve
Yeah.
situation.
He has no idea. He says, I guess I have to tell them when I feel better. This team, and they're already down Matt Vierling. They got to do something before this starts. They're going to start with 3 at the Dodgers. Jack Flaherty. Maybe he gets the ball. Nah, probably Tarek Skubal on the
Tarek
road
Skubal.
will get the ball.
Is the opener.
Skubal will
And then
open.
Scuba Flaherty, I would
Yeah,
assume.
against Blake Snell, and then they take your choice of what the Dodgers can roll out there. Maybe we'll see Roki Sasaki. Cool. Who the hell knows? But you're down 2 players already off that team, that scrappy team from last year. So I don't know. I don't know what Scott Harris has got to cook up, but he's got to cook up something quick.
Such a shame. Such a shame.
Trade deadline for the NHL is Friday, by the way.
Trade deadline for the NHL Friday. Today is the first day, by the way, of the 696
shutdown. Yeah, I got to find a new way home.
I got to find a new way home.
Would you tell me how you go home? Give me a heads up.
I think I'm going to take
75 8 mile.
Yeah, but how do you get on 75?
I'm Woodward to 8 Mile to 75.
Woodward to 8 Mile?
I don't want to go all the way to 8 Mile.
I was thinking about Woodward to 12 Miles
Yes.
to 75.
Well,
That's
because
what I was
everybody's
gonna-
going to be doing that. That's why I want to take the other
Well,
one.
I mean, we're gonna have to take multiple routes and see.
Let me know how you go.
Take 8 all the way there.
Yeah,
You don't wanna do
we're
that.
all going to be
I
experimenting.
could.
Just take 8 Mile.
Yeah,
Everybody's just going to be
8 Mile,
experimenting
baby.
for the next month.
I know that's right. Everybody's gonna be.
It was odd seeing it shut on my way in.
Really?
Yeah, they just got a couple of trucks out there. I'm like, man, I mean, the pavement is great on 696 there, but they're going to do the bridges and stuff like that.
One more super chat, guys.
Oh man, right at the end there. Super chat here. Let me see.
Burn.
Burn. Travis Kelce, Darius Slay, Zach Ertz, Keenan Allen, David Bakhtiari, all drafted in the first round of 20.
After the first round.
After the first round. They were drafted after the first round, not in the first
In
round.
2013. So second through fourth round, we're better.
Bray, get us out of here, buddy.
That's what you get, smart ass. Yo, appreciate you guys for joining
But
us.
thank you for the donation.
We'll have more of a handle on this raffle thing and how we're gonna do it as it relates to the super chat. Appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Join us tomorrow. The whole crew will be back tomorrow as well as Wednesday. So you tap in, man. Get all your news and updates here at Woodward Sports, and more importantly, it is Ermanni Edwards with Maz from my man Ricky Burns. Peace, Spivak. We will see you guys mañana.